Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you. My name is Ashna Sisodia and you're watching this session on Unacademy's channel UPSC Articulate. This is a session which we are going to discuss on international relation. The topic for today's session is Balochistan conflict. This session is provided by me. If you are planning to take subscription on Unacademy Plus, you can do that. Special discounts are available. 30% of discount you can avail on Unacademy Plus just by using my code. My referral code is Ashna Sisodia. Simply write my name and you'll get this additional discount on your subscription. So let us discuss Balochistan issue. See, Balochistan is in conflict with Pakistan government since 1947, and Balochistan is a long-standing political and armed conflict. It is a political and armed conflict. Where is Balochistan located? Let's look at that in the map. So Balochistan is located in the southwest region of Pakistan. Balochistan is the largest province by geographical area of Pakistan. It constitutes approximately 43% of the total area of Pakistan. So it is Pakistan's largest province as well as its poorest and least populated province. If you look at the neighbors of Balochistan, we have Iran to the west. To the west we will have Iran, Afghanistan and the northwest frontier province to the north. Punjab and Sindh provinces in the east are the neighbor provinces of Balochistan. So to the south is the Arabian Sea. Below this you'll see Arabian Sea. And the main languages that are spoken in this province are Balochi, Barahui, Pashto and Sindhi. There are in total of 4 provinces in Pakistan. Although in 2017 Pakistan tried to declare this disputed area, which is the Pakistani occupied Kashmir area, as Gilgit-Baltistan. So these Baloch and Pashtun people in Balochistan constitutes the 2 major ethnic groups. So Balochistan is having a mixed ethnic stock, mainly of Sindhi origin, which forms the 3rd major group. And an important thing that you must remember about Balochistan is that it is rich in mineral resources. It is the 2nd major supplier after Sindh province of natural gas. Balochistan is one of the world's largest copper deposits that have been found here in the Reko Dig in the Chagai district of Balochistan. And the current day Balochistan, it constitutes the Pakistani province of Balochistan, the Iranian province of Sistan, Balochistan and the Afghan region of Balochistan. So what is the cause of conflict? The cause of conflict is along with the ethnicity. Also, some economic and political exclusion is also taking place. For us, Balochistan is important because our Prime Minister in Indian Independence Day speech in 2016, he raised the issue of Balochistan, which highlights the strategic shift of Indian stance in this region. So it's a long-standing political and armed conflict in the southwestern region of Pakistan. And this conflict has its roots in this area's complex historical, political, and economic factors that have shaped the region's modern day status. Balochistan is Pakistan's largest province in terms of land area, as I have discussed, and it has got a diverse population. Because this is rich in natural resources, including natural gas, coal, and minerals, which the Baloch people argue that they have not received a fair share of the revenue generated by their exploitation. So the Baloch people have long claimed that the central government in Islamabad has ignored their demands for greater autonomy. They have ignored their demand for better representation, their demand for greater control over their resources. So, Baloch separatist groups have been demanding a separate homeland for the Baloch people or at least greater autonomy within Pakistan. The conflict has taken many forms. It ranges from peaceful protest and political demands to armed insurgency and terrorism. In fact, Baloch militants have launched attacks on Pakistani security forces and infrastructure, including the gas pipelines and trains, as a part of their campaign for independence. And what has been Pakistan's response towards it? Pakistan's response to this insurgency has been harsh, with the government deploying troops and paramilitary forces in Balochistan. They're trying to maintain law and order here. The government of Pakistan has been accused of human rights violation, including the extrajudicial killings, which they have enforced, disappearances, torture, as well as rapes in its efforts to quell the insurgency. So, this conflict has had a significant impact, particularly on this region's economy and development. The instability here has hampered investment, leading to low economic growth, high unemployment rate, and poverty. So, this conflict has resulted in the displacement of people, with many Baloch people, those who are fleeing this region due to violence and military operations. But despite several attempts at resolving this conflict through political dialogue and peace talks, the situation in Balochistan remains unresolved. The government's heavy-handed approach, coupled with these separatists' uncompromising demands, this has led to a stalemate in the conflict. So, all in all, if we have to define Balochistan, we can say that it is a complex and a multifaceted issue which has its root in the region's history and politics. And this conflict has had a devastating impact on the region's people, their economy, and development. And its resolution remains a significant challenge for Pakistan's government. So, some suggest that a comprehensive and inclusive political solution is required that should address the Baloch people's grievances and aspiration is necessary for the conflict resolution. We'll be talking about the solutions in detail. Let's move ahead and cover first of all the history of this conflict, Balochistan conflict. See, before independence from British rule, the province of Balochistan comprised of 4 princely states. These were Kalat, Lasbela, Kharan and Makran. 3 months before partition, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he mooted an idea of an independent state of Kalat, which would consist of all 4 princely states. And accordingly, a communique was released on 11th of August 1947, which gave an independent sovereign status to Kalat. But by October 1947, Muhammad Ali Jinnah changed his mind. regarding the status of Kalat, and he voiced his demand for this state to formally join the state of Pakistan. So the Khan of Kalat refused to let go of his independent sovereign status, as a result of which a standstill pursued between two leaders regarding the status of present day Balochistan. Next year, on March 26, 1948, the Pakistan army moved into Balochistan and captured Kalat on April 1, 1948. Following the capture of it, cases of military atrocities have been a recurrent occurrence in this province, and acts of ill treatment by officials in this region included torture, arbitrary arrests, executions, and acts of indiscriminate violence. As a result of all this, thousands of people have been reported to be missing. So, this is how this issue began. Now, let us try to understand what are the reasons for conflict in Balochistan today. The first reason is the oppression of rights. The grievances of the masses relating to political, economic, and cultural rights that have given rise to nationalist movement in this region. There is an absence of problem resolution mechanisms even in the democratic setups, and therefore continued negligence of the well-being of the masses that has been the hallmark. Though Pakistan, since its creation, throughout that these people have been facing oppressions here. Another reason is the foreign influence. This conflict has had an unintended catalyst in the form of present global geopolitical conflict that rages across the border in Afghanistan. So, taking advantage, certain well-known external players, they have continued to provide aid in the form of money, shelter, in the form of ammunitions and weaponry to the separatist element. Another reason for conflict in this region is the resource exploitation. Actually, Baloch nationalists, their main issue relates to Pakistan's domestic natural gas industry. Because these people complained that the gas industry's well-paid managers and technicians, they were almost invariably drawn from outside Balochistan. The local Baloch inevitably look at this with suspicion. They think that these people were mainly employed in, the Baloch people were mainly employed in low-end jobs as day laborers in gas industry. And no efforts were made to remedy the shortage of technically skilled Baloch, such as providing government funding of technical training institutions in Balochistan. Nothing like that was done from the government side. Another reason for conflict is deprivation and lack of development. The basic facilities of life here, including health, education, communication sources, infrastructure, all these facilities are in poor condition. In fact, Balochistan has the lowest literacy rate among both males and females. It has the lowest ranking in the gender parity index. This state has the smallest presence of private educational institutes in the country, according to recently issued National Economic Survey. Then, next reason why there is a conflict is religious extremism. The state of deprivation has made people of this province vulnerable to the aggravation and militant tendencies promoting religious extremism in Balochistan. In fact, lack of education and awareness, the sense of deprivation and acute poverty gave space to terrorist activities by both external and internal enemies. Then we have ethnic differences. I think this remains the single biggest fault line in Pakistani politics. Because when Pakistan was formed, skewed power relations among the different Muslim ethnicities was very visible. The Punjabi landlords had an almost unchallenged hold over Pakistan's bureaucracy. The people of Balochistan also felt a sense of separate identity on account of a shared history, language, and other cultural aspects. So, this shared cultural aspect among the Baloch, it led to the ripening of a strong sense of nationalism that propounded for a larger political economy and a separate state for Balochistan. And last, we can say another reason is Gwadar issue. The Baloch opposed the Chinese investment in Balochistan under the China Pakistan Economic Corridor because they believe that this corridor will benefit the Punjabi dominated Pakistani military establishment and convert them, the Baloch people, converting them into a minority in their homeland. So, these are some of the issues, some of the reasons why there's a conflict here. But I think, first of all, let me tell you a little about this China Pakistan Economic Corridor. Because this project, which is a branch of Belt and Road Initiative of China, is connected with Balochistan, we need to have a fair idea of what this project holds for Pakistan, what it is all about, what are the issues associated with it. So let's look at the map again. So the idea behind China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is there's on top of it in Xinjiang province there's a Kashgar city. The idea is through Kashgar city, it's like this, it will be this China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will be created. So CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, it's a flagship project of Belt and Road Initiative of China. The objective behind this China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is to connect China's western region of Xinjiang province to Pakistan's Arabian seaport of Gwadar. And this will be done through a network of infrastructure, energy and industrial projects. Under this, infrastructural development will be done like there will be construction of highways, railways, pipelines and other infrastructure projects to connect China to the port of Gwadar. Now this Gwadar port is strategically located near the entrance to the Persian Gulf. The infrastructure projects are designed to improve connectivity between China and Pakistan and also to provide an alternative route for China's energy imports from the Middle East. Not only this CPEC corridor will include certain energy projects, including the coal-fired and hydroelectric power plants, which will address Pakistan's chronic energy shortages. So these projects are expected to add several thousand megawatts of power to Pakistan's national grid and help to improve energy access and affordability. Also, as per this, certain industrial zones will be created, some special economic zones will be created to attract foreign investment and to promote industrial development in Pakistan. These special economic zones, these SEZs, are designed to provide a favorable business environment, including tax exemptions and streamlined regulations to attract foreign investors and to spur economic growth. Obviously, Pakistan is thinking about the economic benefits here. For China, also, this is going to be economically beneficial, particularly because this corridor provide a new trade route to the Middle East. China will be able to access to Pakistan's large consumer market, and for Pakistan, this is expected to create thousands of new jobs, attract foreign investment, and boost economic growth. But there are strategic implications also that is involved in this project, like particularly with regard to China's growing influence in South Asia, because some observers they have raised concerns that China's investment in CPEC it can lead to greater Chinese military presence in Pakistan, and this can undermine India's strategic interest in the region. There are security concerns attached to it, like particularly with regard to the security of Chinese nationals and infrastructure in Pakistan. Because there have been several attacks on Chinese workers and infrastructure in Pakistan, like there was a suicide bombing in 2019 which killed 9 Chinese engineers. Also, expert says that China-Pakistan economic corridor has the potential to promote greater regional cooperation and connectivity in South Asia. Some observers have suggested that China-Pakistan economic corridor could serve as a catalyst for regional economic integration. It can help them to promote peace and stability in this region. So, in conclusion, this is a significant development project which has the potential to economically benefit China as well as Pakistan. But there are a lot of challenges to it. India particularly is not in favor of this project. And Baloch people, they are also wary about it. They're worried about this. So let's go ahead and now cover what are the solutions available for it. What are the solutions to the Balochistan conflict? As I said, it's a very complex and multifaceted issue which will require a comprehensive, inclusive political solution. So one way can be through political dialogue. The government of Pakistan, I think it needs to engage in a meaningful political dialogue with Baloch people, with Baloch separatist groups to address their grievances and demands. And I think a comprehensive peace plan that recognizes the Baloch people's right to self-determination and autonomy, I think that could help to build trust and reduce tensions. So autonomy can be part of the solution. Another solution can be economic development. The government needs to invest in the economic development of Balochistan, and this should be done to address the region's high unemployment rate, poverty and underdevelopment. The government should also ensure that the Baloch people receive a fair share of the revenue which is generated by their natural resources. Another solution can be about the human rights protection. The government should take immediate measures to end human rights violations in Balochistan, including enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, torture and rape. The government should hold accountable those responsible for these violations and ensure that the victims receive justice. Provincial autonomy, as I have suggested earlier, this could include devolving more political and administrative powers to the province. They can give greater control over its natural resources. And next solution can be regional cooperation, which I think can play a vital role in resolving the Balochistan conflict. Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan should work together to address the region's economic and security challenges. A regional approach could help to address the underlying issues that have contributed to the conflict. But what about China's stance on it now? And what about India's position? Let's talk about that. First of all, let us deal with the position of India on this matter. Let's first of all deal with that. See, when it comes to India, India has historically maintained a supportive stance towards the Baloch people's struggle. India has been in favor of, you know, greater autonomy and self determination for this region. India has consistently expressed concerns over the human right violation and injustices committed against the Baloch people by the Pakistani government and its security forces. In fact, India has raised the issue of Balochistan at various international forums. For example, the United Nations, where we have highlighted the human right abuses committed against the Baloch people by the Pakistani state. India has condemned Pakistan's use of force against peaceful Baloch protests, and we have urged Islamabad to address the Baloch people's grievances through peaceful and democratic means. But India has been accused by Pakistan of providing financial and logistical support to Baloch separatist groups, including the Balochistan Liberation Army, which has been designated as a terrorist organization by Pakistan, by United States and the European Union. India, however, denies any involvement in the Balochistan conflict. India has stated that India respects the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations. So, our support for the Baloch cause is seen as a strategic move to counter Pakistan's support for Kashmiri separatists and its alleged involvement in terrorism in India. India considers Pakistan a major security threat and accuses it of supporting cross-border terrorism in India. India's support for the Baloch cause is seen as a way to put pressure on Pakistan and expose its human rights abuses and support for terrorism. The Indian government has been criticized for using the Balochistan issue to divert attention from its own human rights violations in Kashmir. Pakistan has accused India of using the Balochistan issue to distract attention from the human rights abuses committed by, Indian security forces in Kashmir. But India has denied these allegations, stating that Balochistan issue is separate from the Kashmir issue and that India is committed to addressing the human rights concerns in both regions. So India's opinion on Balochistan is complex and controversial, but India supports the Baloch people's struggle for greater autonomy and self-determination. And we deny any involvement in the conflict. We are not involved in such things. Okay, what about China then? What do you think is China's stance over Balochistan issue? As far as China is concerned, China's stance on Balochistan issue is primarily focused on its strategic interest in this region, particularly with regard to the China-Pakistan economic corridor, which we have dealt with in detail today. So, what is China's stance? Non-interference. China has consistently maintained a policy of non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. As such, China does not take a position on the Balochistan issue, stating that this is an internal matter of Pakistan. So, as per China, Balochistan issue is an internal matter of Pakistan. What other stance it is taking? Well, because China is heavily invested in the development of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is a flagship project of Belt and Road Initiative of China. It runs through Balochistan. So China considers CPEC as a vital part of its strategic vision to increase connectivity and economic integration across Asia. Of course, China has some security concerns. China views this Balochistan conflict as a potential security threat to its investment in this region. The Chinese government has expressed concern over the deteriorating security situation in Balochistan, particularly with respect to attacks on Chinese nationals and infrastructure. So, China calls for stability and peace in Balochistan. China stated that stability in Pakistan is crucial for the success of CPEC. So, China has urged the Pakistani government to take measures to improve the security situation in the province and to protect Chinese investments. Also, China has been engaged in close cooperation with Pakistan on the Balochistan issue, including intelligence sharing, joint efforts to address security threats in the region. China has provided Pakistan with economic and military assistance, which is seen as a way to bolster stability in the country and also to protect its strategic investments. So, in conclusion, China's view on the Balochistan issue, they are primarily focused on its strategic interest, particularly CPEC. So, China maintains a policy of non-interference. China has expressed concerns over the security situation. China called for stability and peace in this region. China has been engaged in close cooperation with Pakistan on Balochistan issue. It is providing assistance to bolster stability and protect its strategic investment. So this is about the Balochistan issue from gender studies point of view for IR section for gender studies paper 2. Now for PSIR optional, this topic is equally important. The only thing that will be adding is the commentaries by experts. So if you are planning to take political science and international relation optional, paper 1 and paper 2 full-fledged course of these papers are available on Plus platform. I have taught more than 20 batches of PSIR on Unacademy Plus platform, along with PYQ discussions, previous year question discussions, as well as answer writing practices. So if you are planning to take subscription, use my code Ashna Sisodia. This is my referral code. Good offers are going on Unacademy, 30% off discount you will get. Now is the time to take the subscription. This is it for this session. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.